We have been doing factoring the entire chapter 7, and we have a bunch of sample equations and factoring on the board behind me. A lot of times when we factor, the equation is going to have an equal sign and it's going to equal 0. So factoring means, well, what I'm going to put for the main idea is that we find common terms then set the parentheses. We find common terms, then set parentheses equal to 0. So it'd be like the one I wrote on the board, x minus 8, x plus 7 equals 0. So each parentheses has to equal 0. X minus 8 equals 0. And then the x plus 7 equals 0. And you solve it. This equation, x minus 8 equals 0. How do I solve this one? What do I do? X minus 8 equals 0. How do I solve it? Add 8 to both sides. X equals 8. This x plus 7. How do I solve for x?
Plus 7, right?
It's already x plus 7. I want to. Yep, minus 7. X equals negative 7. So the answer is going to be the opposite sign but the same number. So it's really easy to figure out the final solution. You get your parentheses first. So let's do 1 through 4 because these are pretty easy. Everything has to be set equal to 0. So I'm going to do the x minus 7 equals 0. So I take it out of parentheses also. Take it out of parentheses and set it equal to 0. And the answer is just the opposite sign. If this says x minus 7, my answer is positive 7. What number is going to make it equal 0? 7 minus 7 equals 0. Easy. But mathematically, if you want to write plus 7, that's the true steps being shown. This x minus 2, the answer is obviously what minus 2 equals 0? 2 minus 2 equals 0. The answer is 2. X equals 2. Number 2 is the same thing. Set each parentheses equal to 0. What minus 3 equals 0? Obviously, 3 minus 3 equals 0. M equals 3. 3 minus 3 equals 0. Yes?
How would we format the answer? Would we set in parentheses or?
The final answer is going to be no parentheses and just like these two right here. That's the final answer.
7, 2.
No, you have to write them separate. You can't combine it.
Okay.
And then what plus 9 equals 0? What's the answer? Negative 9. So now number 3, I don't have a parentheses for this x, but I still set this x equal to 0, and then x minus 5 equals 0. So both things, there's 2 here. This equal to 0, and this equal to 0. So 0 times x minus 5 would equal 0. And then, you obviously solve for this x minus 5 equals 0. X equals positive 5. These are the two numbers that you would plug in for x, and you would get 0 as your answer. Number 4, 5x equals 0. Set each one equal to 0. X plus 8 equals 0. So the math, I would divide by 5, but still, 0 divided by 5 is still 0. Then I minus 8 on this end, x equals negative 8. Now, we have to factor first and then. So number 5 is nice because it's already equal to 0. So I'm just going to go like this. What two numbers multiply to make 10? Remember, multiply to make 10 and add to negative 7. Yeah. Negative 5 and negative 2. X minus 5, x minus 2. And then I'm going to put the equals 0. Which means now each parentheses has to equal 0. X minus 5 equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0. And then you write your two answers. X equals 5. X equals 2. Number 6 does not equal 0. Make it equal 0. Move the 30 to the left. How do I move this 30 over to the left? What would I do to get this 30 to go over to the left side?
Add 30 both sides.
Add 30 both sides. Now remember, I'm not going to add it to the 11. I'm just going to make it now 3 terms. And it equals 0. I can't do a thing unless it equals 0. So now I'm ready to actually factor. What multiplies to make 30 and adds up to 11? No negatives. Everything's positive here. 5 and 6. Anthony, take a break from helping because you've been helping a lot. Set each parentheses equal to 0. Or can you just do it in your head by now? X plus 5 equals 0. What's x? The opposite sign, remember? X equals negative 5. And subtract 6 both sides, x equals negative 6. These are the two values for x. Okay. Bottom, it's already equal to 0. It's just backwards. No problem. What multiplies to make 144 and adds up to 15? Ooh. It's not 12 times 12. 144, you guys? It's not 12 times 12. 144. Well, let's see. I have an idea. This is a hard one. You guys might need 24 and 6. But 24 See, let's see. 144 is 16 times 9. 18 times 8. Neither one of those make 15. 12 times 12. Not 14. 144 divided by 24 times 6. You guys, I can't think of one. 7, 6, 4. 4 times 36. Maybe it doesn't factor. Let's just leave it for now. Let's leave it because it's not coming obvious to our brain. All right, let's go to number 8. Add 1 to both sides to get the factoring question. All right. This has a 2, an A. So my firsts in the parentheses have to equal 2x squared. If they have to equal 2x squared, I know it's going to be a 2x and an x. So my last is a 1. That's this position. My lasts have to equal 1. 1 times 1. Figure out the signs. I need to equal a 3x. What's it going to be? And plus 1. Oh, 2x and 1x. Both of them have to be negative. So 2x minus 1 equals 0. And x minus 1 equals 0. I didn't have room, so I had to put it up here. If it's a 2x minus 1, like this has a number in front, I actually have to do my math. Add 1 to both sides. 2x equals 1. Divide by 2. X equals 1/2. But this one, x minus 1 equals 0, just add 1. And x equals 1.
So if that was on the test, we would put x equals 1 and then x equals 1/2.
Yeah, only when there's an equal sign in a factoring problem, and then there's like an equals 0. Even if it doesn't equal 0, you got to make it equal 0. Like number 6, your job is to make it equal 0. Number 8, your job first, make it equal 0 and then factor it. Yeah. All right, number 9. Let's factor it. This is, my first is 2x squared. That obviously has to be 2x times x. That's the only way to make 2x squared. Now, my last, these two numbers have to equal a 3. Should I put, I'm doing this in pencil because I might need to erase. Should I do 1 times 3 or 3 times 1? Because I'm going to need to erase one of these. Let's do the top. The top is going to be 2x times 3. That's 6x. And then the 1 times x. 6x and 1x. Does that make a negative 1? 6x and 1x. Does that make negative 1? 6 and 1? No, that makes 7 or 5. So I can erase the top because that's not going to be it. Okay. Then let's try the 3 and the 1. 2x times 1. 2x. 3 times x, 3x. Did 2x and 3x make 1? 2x and 3x. I get it if I subtract them. So where should a negative be? If this is the 3x and this is the 2x, which one should be? I want a negative 1. How do I get a negative 1 from a 2x and a 3x? Negative 3. So then I put this minus sign here. 2x minus 3, x plus 1. They have an equal 0. Set them each individually equal to 0. Add 3. 2x equals 3. Divide by 2. So our job is to get x alone. Solve for x. X equals 3 halves. Did you guys know that 3 halves means 1.5? Just something I think that you should know. So I got one solution. X equals 3 halves. What's the solution to x plus 1 equals 0? Negative 1. So those are my two answers, 3 halves and negative 1. All right, 6x squared minus 13x minus 5. Factor it. So 6x squared, I can, I really would discourage you from choosing 1 and 6 because that's just going to get too big. What else makes 6? 3 and 2. Let's make our 6x squared 3 and 2. 3x, 2x. But I don't know about the 5. Should it be 1 times 5 or 5 times 1? I don't know. So I'm going to put 1 times 5 and then 5 times 1 to try it. One of them is going to work. Okay. 3x times 5, 15x. And then 1 inside, 1 times 2. 15x and 2. Would that make 13? 15x and 2x. Would that make 13? 15 and 2. Add them or subtract them? Yes. So I know that the 1 is going to be matched with the 3x, and the 5 will go with the 2x. I don't know the signs. But I know that it's 2x and 15x. So I want it to be a negative 13. How do I add those or subtract those to get a negative 13? Negative 15. That means the negative 5 times the 3x would be negative. Set each of these equal to 0 because this is the zero product property. And then you guys solve. Go ahead. Isolate x. Okay, what are my two values for x? X equals what and x equals what? What'd you get? You already helped. Someone new. Negative 1/3, yes. 5/2. 5 halves. Did you know that 5 halves was the same as 2 1/2? Mixed number in proper fraction. Okay. We are making the equation equal 0, and then we set each parentheses equal to 0. So there's a lot going on here. You guys have a lot to do today. So let me do a couple from here because we're going to do this worksheet and we're going to do this worksheet. This worksheet's easier. So how about we do 28, 31, 33, and 34. Those are the only ones I'm making you do from that side. Okay, so let's start together, and I'll stop recording.